Welcome to the Natural Cancer Support Channel. I'm Dr. David Lemmon, a naturopathic doctor and cancer expert, and I'm here to interview Dr. James Cima. He's a functional medicine doctor and chiropractic doctor in Florida, and I'm so excited to spend this time with him. Dr. Cima, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dr. Lem.
So it sounds like you have a really interesting story working with cancer patients back in the 80s with kind of a really interesting controversial figure, Dr. Kelly. Tell us a little bit about that experience working with those patients and how you learned about health.
Well, when I came down to Florida back in 1980, 81, I was just starting my practice, and I moved up to Palm Beach Gardens. And just before that, I met a doctor who was specializing in nutrition and treating cancer patients. And his name was Dr. Beard. He was an osteopath. And he had patients coming from all over the United States through this Dr. Kelly, William Donald Kelly, who started out as a dentist and cured himself of pancreatic cancer back in the 50s. And he was pretty wild guy. And so once he did that, he decided I don't want to practice dentistry anymore. I want to practice nutrition. So he just focused on building the whole nutritional, regime of treating cancer patients. And he wrote a book. It wasn't really much of a book back in the 50s. It was called One Answer to Cancer. So he was treating a lot of different cancer patients throughout the United States at the time. Very controversial. They wound up pushing him out. I think he started in California. They pushed him out into Mexico because they took away his license, or they refused whatever he was doing, to basically look at that as possibly something to help cancer. And so he moved his whole practice down there. And Dr. Beard, I think, spent a month with him, learning all about his procedures. And so as I got into Dr. Beard's office, I really wanted to use nutrition in my practice, but I wasn't exactly sure what it was that I wanted to do. And so working in Dr. Beard's office, he had said to me, he goes, look, I'm treating a lot of cancer patients. The chiropractic technique that you utilize, which is called sacral occipital technique, Dr. Kelly really likes and would recommend that any of his patients have that treatment as well as the nutritional. And they were doing a lot of nutrition, doing IVs back then, which is a little bit big today, but they were utilizing what they call chelating agents, vitamin C, EDTA, to help chelate things out of the bloodstream that they felt would, cause problems with the blood circulating through the body and healing the body and bringing the nutrients where they're supposed to be brought to. And so I was starting to treat a lot of Dr. Kelly's patients from a physical perspective. And also at the time, as I was building my practice, I got involved with this group. They were called Cancer Victims and Friends. And so it was a whole group of people. They were in their probably 60s and 70s, and they were all trying to promote natural healing for cancer, as opposed to the radical approaches of the medical profession, which weren't as radical as they are today. We're talking about 40 years ago. So I had joined their group and kind of helped them along the way, and they were kind of helping me. They were sending me patients, and I would be giving talks and things like that, and kind of helping them find speakers and put together different, let's say, projects for them to do to help each other get well. So they were like a whole big team, and they'd meet, I think, once a week, and then once a month we'd have like a whole big thing. And so it was great because I got to meet these people. They were in their 60s. They just wanted a natural approach. They were sick and tired of going through the medical approach, and that's what they wanted. So any support that I could give them, I was like, I was ready, willing, and able. And so I spent a lot of time with them, with a lot of them being cancer patients, obviously, as well as the ones they treated at Dr. Beard's office. So as I went through the whole process, my thought was simply this, because they keep on talking about finding the cure for cancer, finding the cure for cancer. And I'm kind of like, saying the same thing with them. So I said, this is not really working out, because these people, even with the cancer treatment, some of them were getting well, but most of them really weren't, especially if they went through, excuse me, the medical route, because now with the chemo and radiation, that causes more damage to the body. So not only are they fighting some kind of cancer, but now they're fighting the effects of chemo and radiation poisoning their body. And back in the 60s, this is the funny thing, because like I said, I've been around for a long time. Back in the 60s, they said, what causes cancer? Chemicals and radiation. 15, 20 years later, what are they doing treatment-wise? Chemicals and radiation. It's like one time they said it's causing cancer, next time they say it's curing it. So either way, it's not really the best way to go. And more of a natural approach is really necessary. Even if you go through the chemo and radiation, you still got to try to take care of your health overall. But it's so traumatized by the time all that stuff is done to them. It's kind of like, you're dealing with 10% of a human being at that point. And just the immune system is so traumatized is there's not much it can really do. The whole body's so traumatized. So when they kept on going, we're looking for a cure, the big cure, give us money, we need cure, we got to cure cancer, we got to cure. I finally realized you don't cure cancer. Okay. The best way, to cure cancer is to prevent it. That's the best way. And that's what I want people, even my patients, to know. Even if they're 40 or 50, it's like, I know you're coming in for your back pain or some nominal or menial thing that you're concerned about. But I'm telling you, in 10, 15, 20 years, if you don't really take care of what's going on in your body right now, all of a sudden you're going to just go to the doctor one day and go, you got stage 4 cancer. And what are you going to do at that point? It's they tell you, get your affairs in order and pray, because there's not much you can do at that point. And so that's what I realized. I said, you know what? If I can focus on, treating people before they have the cancer, it's so much better than to get them after it occurs, because their life has changed forever once they develop that kind of cancer, or something that's, let's say, terminal. And even if they're allowed to the medical profession loves to just maintain you, just kind of drag you along, and they don't really care how you feel. They just want to know, hey, I keep you alive for 5 or 6 years. I don't care if you feel like crap. It doesn't really matter as long as have you, going for 5 more years. Like, no, I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. I want to enjoy my life. I don't want to be sitting here going for IVs, for chemo and radiation. I don't want to do that, because I know if I go for the chemo for the next 2 or 3 days, I'm vomiting, I'm losing my hair. Radiation, the same thing. I look like, a skeleton by the time this is all done. And why do we want to look like that? It's like, I look at people like, you look at Ben Franklin, ounce of prevention is worth the pound of cure. You look at people like Einstein. Einstein says, great minds solve problems, brilliant minds prevent them. That's when I realized you don't solve this problem, cancer, you prevent it from occurring. And that comes from Einstein, not me. So it's kind of like looking at, yes, that's what you have to do. You can't, and the doctors, there's no way for them to screen you. By the time they find any kind of cancer, it's like you're down. It's not like, oh, I found it yesterday and it started yesterday. It's been going on for years and decades. Or they go the exact opposite route, doctor. They go where it's like they'll find a speck on your breast and they're going to remove both of them for a female. Or they'll find, oh, so we got we got a little nodule over here on your thyroid, so let's remove it. Or it's like, oh yeah, you have some cyst on your breast, let's remove it. Or you have some problems with your uterus, you have this, and you're 35, 40, you're not going to have any kids anymore, let's take it out. So it's kind of things like that occur that causes further damage to the body as time goes on. So the goal is to look at the patient as a child, and that's what I do. If you look at a patient, when I look at medical profession, they just treat sickness and disease. They don't treat health and wellness. That's what most people don't understand. That's the difference. They call it health insurance. It's really sickness and disease insurance. But the medical profession treats sickness and disease. They look at you that you have a disease or you have a sickness, and we got to kill the disease or we have to kill the sickness. There's never about, wait a second, that's what the body's job is, to do this stuff. Let's give the body what it needs and you'll be perfect. And so the body requires 3 separate components, or actually the body and the mind. You have to be, and I look at it as a triangle or a triangle, because one side affects the other. We're 33 and 30% chemical, which is, there's a body of science called chemistry that documents all this. And then you're 33 and 30% physical. We have a physical body, and we have a body of science called physics that documents this. And then you have the mental emotional aspect. And so if you can balance chemical, physical, mental, emotional, you'll be fine. In today's society, people think, oh, if I go on a good diet, I'll be fine. No, it's 33 and the 30. You can be on the most perfect diet in the world. You still have a physical body and you still have a mind that's mental, emotional. And unless you conquer those 2 other areas, you're going to deal with less and less health as time goes on. And so most people don't understand that. Most doctors don't even understand that. I teach a lot of doctors and they'll say, what's the 3 components of excellent health? They can't tell me. Maybe 1 or 2. They'll say, oh, good diet, that's good. Or, yeah, you have a sound mind, that's okay. But they can't figure all 3 sides out. And if you're going to work with patients, that's what you have to do, especially with a cancer patient. You have to say, okay, chemically, let's see what literally is going on here. Put together the right nutritional profile for you. I don't even like use the word diet, because it's not really conducive to what people talk about food. They just don't only want a diet to lose weight. But it's going to create a nutritional profile that's really good for you. The foods are beneficial for you. They're easy to prepare. They give you the greatest amount of nutrients possible. And it costs you very little, as far as money goes, to take care of that thing. Same thing with supplementation. Getting the right supplementation is really important. I see people taking supplements. What are you taking that for? Well, they told me to take vitamin D, or they told me to take this, they told me to take that. I said, but what are you taking it for? Well, it's like, my vitamin D is low. Okay, well, I understand that. But what's the most important vitamin to you? What's the most important mineral to you? They don't know. They go, oh, well, C. They're like, oh, vitamin A. Or they'll say, no, magnesium, calcium. It's not the one you're lacking. That's the most important vitamin and mineral. And you can't look at, I'm going to take this vitamin or that mineral and think it's going to change anything. I studied, probably thousands of years of chemistry and organic biochemistry and organic chemistry and laboratory diagnosis and nutritional support and nutrition and everything. And it's not that easy. You have 100 trillion cells in your body, each cell going through 100,000 chemical reactions per second. There's so many nutrients involved in those reactions that saying, well, I take this, I'll be fine, is kind of, just ridiculous too. You have to look at like in totality, you have to look at, okay, what's my macronutrients? Am I taking the sufficient amount of macronutrients like my protein, my fats, my carbohydrate? Am I taking sufficient amount of water? That's even more important than vitamins and minerals. But then you also need to look at like how my glands are working. What do I need to support my liver or my thyroid or my pancreas? Especially today, type 2 diabetes. It's huge. And because it's huge, because 40 years ago, when they changed the food pyramid and they put everybody on a high carb, low fat diet, they just created like a monster. And 30 years later, or 40 years later, people are still freaking out. How's my cholesterol level? They say it's high, it's 200. I just don't even listen to these people. I have no idea what they're talking about. 200 is fine. Back in the 80s, cholesterol levels were between 225 to 325. And as they started lowering it because, oh, they link cholesterol with heart disease, which is a total lie, total fabrication, that people even today, I talk to them, it's like, how's my cholesterol? Oh, can I eat fat? Oh, I'm not sure if I should be able to do that. My doctor wants me to go below 200. He goes, and my LDLs are so bad. And I said, what's so bad about your LDLs? Oh, they're high. I said, do you know what your LDLs do? They don't even know. They make you sex hormones. Is it LDLs are bad? They make you sex hormones? Come on, give me a break. They make phospholipids to protect your brain from things like dementia, premature senility. And they also basically, do multiple of other things. Actually, patch up cell membranes. That's where they're found on all these membranes in especially the blood vessel walls that are just loaded with cholesterol, the LDLs, because they're protecting the body from the damage that the scarring of all those free radicals that you have floating around your blood constantly. So that's what's going on with people, and they're taking statins, which is the worst thing in the world to do. It's coming up your liver. It's causing all kinds of issues that way, and it's kind of like ridiculous.
And
So
depletes your CoQ10, and then that hurts your mitochondria, and it's just this big downward spiral.
yeah,
Ah, so so many things to change in the world.
yeah. Well, the reality is, and it's like even when I watch the United States today, and I just see all the crap that's going on just with the general population and all the hate and everybody else is like get just crazy out there. If you really look at the worst thing that we have today in our society is the overall health of the United States. That's the number one. That's the number one issue because that's going to kill everybody. That's going to cause us to go bankrupt over time because we can't keep on paying out for Medicare and things like that we're paying out for and trying to just like keep a person. I mean, they try to keep people alive. I know why they do it because there's a money factor involved, but the quality of the person's life is not you know, it's not worth it. And so it's something that if you're going to have people live longer, let's improve the quality of their lives so you can have fun, you can enjoy yourself. Down in Florida, we have a ton of people who come down here maybe 6 months out of the year. And these people in their 60s and their 70s, and they'll be out there playing pickleball, playing tennis, playing golf, working out with weights. They'll have their trainer. They'll go out to dinner with their friends all the time. They're just like living. They're enjoying their life, and they're retired. And they're fairly wealthy people, don't get me wrong, but it's, they're just enjoying themselves. They have a lot of friends down here. It's just a nice lifestyle for them. And so I see that's the kind of lifestyle that you want, for anybody. And you don't have to be super wealthy to have that kind of a lifestyle, especially in Florida. You go 3 miles and I'm at the beach. Okay, you can't improve your lifestyle any more than being on the ocean constantly and getting all those, life renewing qualities and characteristics. So it's kind of like, you can be broke down here and still be healthy. You can even grow your own, if you can do whatever you want to do. So it's not like this thing where, it's just, geared towards, wealthy people. It's geared towards everybody. A lot of elderly people usually are pretty negative too as well, except these people. But they're taking care of themselves, Doc. They really enjoy life. They're having like a a second, second coming. They just like, okay, great. The kids are out of the house. The kids are grown. We did a great job with them. We're moving to Florida and we're just going to enjoy ourselves. And you can't enjoy yourself if you're sick and diseased. So the good thing is that these people, and they come in for treatment, they come in for the nutrition, they come in for the training, and they want to get, that's the patients I love. It's like, it's like I don't really love the patient that come in, oh, I got back pain. Could you take care of my back pain? No, you need to take care of your back pain. I'll show you what to do, and I'll even help you to explain what to do and all the things you can do to basically get rid of it, keep it that way. You want to educate you. I don't want you to just like leave and expect me to like always help you when you get in trouble. I want you to be able to help you. You're responsible for your body. You listen to the doctor within. And if you really start really listening to the doctor within, then you'll never have any health problems, especially because you don't have to listen to other doctors, because pretty much most doctors lie,
Yeah, we've
including
really been trained in our society to not listen to those body signals, huh?
that's the word. That's the worst part. People are so deconditioned from, like feeling it, knowing what's going on with their body. I mean, every day, I might be a little bit, more crazy than the average person, but for decades, I write down every day what I eat, how much protein, how much fat, how much carbohydrates, how do I feel, how's my energy, what's my body, it's like all these different things come, how's my mind working? I'm not exactly like you call me a spring chicken. I'm 75 years old. I practice 5 days a week, and actually we're starting the second practice up in Indian River State College with the veterans, and so I'm putting myself out there even more. And so I'll probably be working at least 6 days a week, or maybe even 7 days a week. But I love what I'm doing. So it's not like, to me, it's not working. It's like creating things, helping other doctors, putting this whole thing together within Indian River State College. To me, it's like enjoyable. It's a lot of fun. And that's the other thing that people should want to think about. It's like, stop this retirement stuff. Don't ever retire, because you don't want to retire from life. You want to whatever you did in life, if you really enjoyed it, do it part-time. Do some, or maybe pick something that you always wanted to be, something you really wanted to be and you never were able to do it because of time or money. Do something like that part-time. But just have something that you're really like enthusiastic about, that gets you up in the morning, that you feel like, I got to get out of bed, I got to do this. And it's and because you just love what you're being and what you're doing, what you're having.
Did Dr. Beard use the metabolic typing for different diets like Kelly did?
Yes, that's who gave me the information. Because once I started to work with him, like I said, I got a lot of Kelly's manuals and started to really study and learn it myself. And then I started to put together blood chemistry analysis as well to determine that. So I used a combination of what Kelly decided that you would need to determine what kind of a diet you should be on, because he used 13 to 14 different factors. He used like calcium, potassium, phosphorus, sodium, chloride, cholesterol, triglycerides, red blood cells. He used a whole bunch of different tests. So we put together those tests so I can look at what kind of a diet the patient should be on. And then with Dr. Brockman, he studied blood chemistry analysis and utilized that to determine glandular and organ malfunction. Just the way the doctor would say, oh, you're a diabetic, or you have a thyroid problem, or you have a problem with your liver or your gallbladder, or your, ovaries, or whatever it was, he would find that. But what his good thing was, he took the pathological ranges in the lab test and narrowed them down. So you could basically see, like, okay, there's an issue starting to occur with your gallbladder, your pancreas, months or years before. And you wouldn't just use one test, like people like, oh, your cholesterol's high, so we'll put you on a stat. No, if your cholesterol is high, or if it's considered high, there's, I think, 72 different combinations of glands, organs that could cause that problem with cholesterol. So just putting a person on the stat and not getting to the cause, if there is a reason for the high cholesterol, even if there isn't, at least you can determine that. So you look at clusters of tests to determine what glands or organs are malfunctioning. And you talk to the patient, you look at what their symptomatology is. If you see that the adrenals are like, oh, here's a perfect example. A big adrenal indicator back in the 80s, or it's still a big adrenal indicator, is called alkaline phosphatase. Now, high alkaline phosphatase kind of leads to, let's say, bone cancer somewhere down the line. But so they used to keep the ranges of alkaline phosphatase between 80 and 150. Okay, so you had to fall within there. So now what happened was, it's like I told you, it's besides like for bone cancer and things like that, it also impacts the fact of how well the pancreas is working. So back in the 80s, we were basically more healthy than we are today. And the alkaline phosphatase back then was between 80 and 150. You know what a low for alkaline phosphatase is today? 30. And the reason why is because they have to create a bell curve. And so the sicker we get, this is what I don't understand. They still have to put all those people on in the curve. And when you do that, you just put sicker people in the curve to get them in there. So instead of it being 80, it went to 70. I watched it 60, it went to 50, went to 40, it went to 30. It's kind of insane. And they,
Mm,
they think it's fine because if it's high, you got cancer. If it's low, they don't care. The same thing
mm,
with these other tests, they're called ALT and AST today. If you look at some of the labs, their range goes from 0 to 40 or 50. And I'm like, 0, wait a second, that's a liver function test. At 0, you're dead. So you can never be too low. It's like you can be at 7 and they think you're fine. It's like, no, your liver should be at around 35, 40 ALT or AST. And they don't look at it that way because if it's super high, then you have cirrhosis of the liver or you have some kind of cancer developing. But if it's too low, they don't care. Same thing with cholesterol. Oh, we just got to get it lower. What's too low? Oh, you never low enough. Got to get underneath 150. It's like you're killing people. And you see dementia's on the rise. You see, all the stuff that's going on with their overall health is on the rise. And so a lot of it's because of, the statins and reducing cholesterol. And the liver produces 80%. The statin basically prevents that from occurring. So now you got to deal with the effects of the statins as well. So it's been really a crazy ride. Even looking at blood chemistry analysis, they've changed. The ranges have changed dramatically over the last 40, 50 years. And part of it's they got to get everybody in the bell curve, or they just want to say, well, if it's high, it's no good. If it's low, that's fine. And nothing can be further from the truth. And you have to look at the whole test. You have to look at everything. But it's literally a biochemical blueprint, of your chemistry. Just like your fingerprints, there's one fingerprint for every human being in the world. There's one blueprint biochemically for you, and that's your blood test. Nobody has a blood test like yours, similar to it. Oh, that's you. That's your biochemistry of your body. And the good thing about it is, like I said, with blood tests, the good thing is over time, if you put them on the right diet, the right supplements, you make the changes. So 6 months to a year later, you check them out. If they've been doing their nutritional profile properly and they've been taking their supplements, then you can look back and see what's going on. They may be changed, they may not be changed. There may be great change, there may be, going down the wrong one. And then you have to reprogram and figure out what it is that you need to do. But the majority of the times you put patients on the right nutrition, right supplements, right treatment, right frame of mind. You always have some really great results with people. And you just improve the quality of their life. That's my goal. I want you to live longer, but the quality's got to be there. If it's not there, it's a waste of time. So
exactly.
mm.
So, with all of your experience, what other advice do you have for preventing and for people going through the cancer healing process now? What natural support would you offer someone who is dealing with cancer right now?
The one thing that they should definitely all should have, they should have some kind of a support team, whether it's people like themselves, okay, that are dealing with, when they say a support team, not this like, I want to cry on your shoulder, you cry on my shoulder. People, like I said, with the cancer victims and friends, they were like a good support team for one another because they cared about each other and they had that good support. Because it's really tough on your spouse or your next of kin to have to deal with this on their own. So they have to have that. Another thing that they really want to start changing, like we spoke about even when I was talking with Dr. Beard, was that the mental emotional approach to cancer is really, really great because, not that it ever was told to me, but the devastating effects that when somebody says, doctor says you have cancer, that just like is like somebody taking a baseball bat and cracking you over the back of the head. And it's just like, it's like well, you're devastated. What do you do? Well, we got to run a PET scan, a CAT scan, a canary scan, everything we got to run on you. But that's what we're going to have to do. And then we're going to have to possibly do chemo, radiation. We got to talk to this doctor, that doctor. And it's just a nightmare. And it doesn't go on for days. It doesn't go on for weeks. It doesn't go on for months. It starts to go on for literally years as time goes on. They put you on this and try that. But you know what? You're always afraid that's going to come back. And so I think that you really have to get your mind in that really good position. And you have to condition your mind for success on this thing, because this is going to be one of the greatest battles you ever had in your life. And you're going to have to condition your mind to win. It's not like, there's no second place. I do this to win. I do this to regain my health. And there's a whole way that you can do that. And in my book, Achieving Unlimited Health, there's a whole section. And the same thing I wrote a book, How to Eat More and Lose Weight and Never Diet Again, back in 1988, because I knew we were going to have an obesity problem now. I didn't think it was as bad as it's going to be, but it's worse than I thought it would be.
Mm,
But it was, it's kind of like, even the one How to Eat More, Lose Weight, Never Diet Again, because I knew I'm dealing with people that have a weight problem. As before you condition anything, your exercise, your nutrition, you have to condition your mind for success. And if you're not going to do that, you're not going to be successful. Because any little thing that's going to come along is just going to blow you right out of the water. So if you start conditioning your mind to be healthy and all the things that you need to do that, then you're going to start really putting together some kind of a program, and you're going to develop a belief in yourself and belief in your body. And that's what a lot of people don't even know. They don't believe that the well, doctors themselves, and that's why you get the worst part about it. They don't believe that the body can heal itself. And so they push that on you too. And you don't think that the body can heal itself. And people don't even know that. And they say, you have a brand new body every 6 months to a year. You know that, John? No, I didn't know that. Every cell in your body is repaired and rebuilt. It's like, why would you not think that the body can't heal itself? It doesn't. If you took a plant and didn't give it the right water, didn't give it the right sunlight, the right temperature, the right soil, it's going to die. And once it starts dying, could you bring it back to life? Absolutely. Give it the right water, right sunlight, right temperature, right soil, and the right foods to eat, and you're going to have a beautiful plant again. If God will do that for a plant, he won't do that for a human being. I mean, that's the reality. You give the body chemically, physically, nourish it chemically, physically, mentally, emotionally. But you got to do it mentally, emotionally first, Doc, because it's really you're in a depressed state. Just on an emotional level, you're depressed, you're beaten, and don't forget how you feel. At that particular point, you didn't go to the doctor because you were feeling great most of the time. You went because you were feeling, not so good, and you had everything checked out, and you realized, wow, there's some problems here. And same thing with heart disease. You have a heart attack, they do the open heart surgery, you get a twinge in your chest, having another heart attack. You're monitoring your blood pressure, you're monitoring your pulse rate, you're monitoring everything else out there. If it goes a little haywire, you freak out. Oh, we got to put this on you. We got to do this. We got to test that. You're going to see how your heart's pumping. We're going to have to maybe do, something we're going to do medically to try to figure out what's going on with your heart. And you're freaking out.
Hmm.
It could be just something simple, like we do a lot of work, like I said, visceral somatic work. Be something simple as just like working with the vagus nerve, just to slow the heart down, just to slow pulse rate down, blood pressure down, and just everything feeling good, as opposed to going in and taking 10,000 tests and still after 10,000 tests going, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. And if it does, then they put you on chemo and radiation or medications, and which is totally useless because a medication is geared to remove your symptom. If it moves your symptom, then it's not telling the body like what was causing the problem to begin with. So,
Exactly.
yeah, the whole medical profession, it needs to be revamped. It really does. It's going to be impossible because between the AMA, all the other societies involved with that, it's just not going to happen. And with the pharmaceutical firms, too much money, too much, they'll lose too much money trying to do natural things. So.
Yeah, all we can do is keep educating and reminding people that the body has a healing mechanism and it's meant to heal itself. And if you have a sore hip, you don't have to get a hip replacement, but your hip can actually heal itself.
Exactly. How many times, and this is really true. People come in, I got to go for a hip replacement. Why? Oh, I have bone on bone. I said, so what? Doesn't mean anything. Well, you can help that? Yeah, I can help it. It's like all we're going to wind up doing is simply this. We're going to basically work with it, get the hip joint back in alignment. There's still cartilage cells that'll make and renew the cartilage, and you'll be fine. We're going to do the right exercises. Stop doing exercises that cause you more damage to your hip. Like, let's see people with hip problems. I see them walking. It's like, you shouldn't be walking until you get rid of the pain. You should be stretching, maybe doing some exercises to help, rehab the hip, which is totally different than exercising like you're doing, and get it well, feeling better. And then when you get rid of the hip pain, you feel great. I mean, how I got into this profession was at 15. I hurt my back really bad shooting the shotgun. And
Mm.
it was so bad, Doc, that there were times I couldn't get off the floor. And I'm like 16, 17, 18, but then I'd get better. But it was always there. By the time I got out of school, I was up at Cornell and I was teaching, it was getting worse. And I'm 22, 23. And I'm over at my girlfriend's house one time and I'm laying on the floor and a father's friend comes over to me, goes, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "My back is killing me." He goes, "Don't worry, it's going to get worse as you get older." He steps and walks out the front door. And I'm like, I don't know whether to curse at him or to love him because I said, he's right. I mean, I'm 24 at the time and I'm like in severe pain. What happens when I'm 30? What happens when I'm 40? I'm thinking like ahead now. And I'm saying, I don't know what I got to do. Luckily, I found out about chiropractic, went to a chiropractic, got some relief and said, that's the one. I want to be a chiropractor because when you have that kind of bad back pain, when you know you're in a house and you're laying on the floor, and if there was a fire, you couldn't get out of the house because you couldn't move, you couldn't walk. Going to the commode was like a challenge. Okay. When you got there, it was like, well, what do I do now? I got so much pain. I can't bear down. I can't do anything. And I'm like 20, and I'm like in fairly good shape. I was, when I was a kid, I used to play golf, I used to box, I used to ski, but it was just like, I didn't know when my back was going to go out. And if it did, it was like curtains. It wasn't
Mm.
like, but if you said to me, you have back pain? I'd say, yeah, it's like kind of nominal. And I never really like was able to deal with it until I got to chiropractic. And even chiropractic itself didn't just help. I had to learn how to do flexibility, stretching, I do weight training, eat properly, and things like that. And so all those different things, and getting the muscle work, the neuromuscular work that we spoke about, all those things really helped me get well. And so now I'm like I said, 75 years old, have no back pain, none whatsoever. I play golf. No, I don't really play golf. I hit a lot of golf balls and I just train a lot. And, I work on patients, like I said, 5 days a week, 6 days, will be 6 days now. And my back is in great shape. But it's because I stretch every day. I know the right weight training exercise to do to make my back stronger. And it's a combination of squats, deadlifts, leg presses, all those different things you want to do to strengthen your low back and your legs. But it's just a whole methodical way to train. And I learned that from bodybuilders back in the early 80s. And so I realized that was really important. Once I started training properly, once I started stretching properly and getting all the muscle work, the back pain got less and less and less and less. Now, like I said, until today, I don't really have any. No one, now, could I hurt myself? Yeah, but it'd just be like a little setback, a little temporary thing. In a few days, I'm fine. But other than that, it's like, I just like I enjoy life. I'm happy. I can do things pain free, and at this age, people aren't pain free. Even if they think they're in good health, doc, they kind of walk around like crippled animals. I see crippled animals or wounded animals have more ambulatory methods than these people. They can't. And I belong to PGA National Golf Club. So there's a lot of people that I know, just friends and people that I've met throughout the decades up at the members club. And these people are in their 70s and 80s, and they can just about barely walk. They go out, if it's car path only, they can't play golf. I see somebody go to walk into the bathroom. I don't understand how they even get to the bathroom because the bathroom's like maybe 30, 40 yards away. And it's kind of like I see that, and they're walking around, they're almost bewildered. These people have been in the club for like decades. They
Mm.
walk, they're like, where am I? And so it's their mind is starting to go. And you
Mm.
talk to them, and like I said, I've been watching now for 15 years, and they'll be saying things like, I can't hit the ball far anymore. I got to go to, senior clubs and stuff. And me, I'm hitting the ball further than I've ever hit it before. And I have irons that, the shafts are basically the hardest shafts you can possibly use, extra stiff shafts. And I'm hitting, what they basically call, they're not cavity backs, they're blades. It's the hardest club to possibly hit. I hit them. The reason why I want to hit them is because you got to hit them perfectly to do a right shot. And so to me, it's like more of the perfection thing than anything else. I don't want a club that gives me like forgiveness. I'm not interested in forgiveness. I just want to hit the ball really well. So
Mm.
to me, it's like a nice way to do it. And so he said, well, why do you want to do that for? I want to make my swing better. I don't want to make it worse. So, but that's the way I am. It's like I always like to do things like that. And the only way I can hit the ball good is because my back, my neck, my shoulders, my legs, my hips, my knees are in good shape. Otherwise, I couldn't do it. They have all these different club selections out there. And I tell most of my patients, I say, what the best advice I can give you as far as like club selection, the best piece of equipment you can get, take care of your body and you'll be fine.
That's amazing parting advice. Take care of your body and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if people are interested in learning more about you, where can they go?
You can go to my website. It's called Cima Health, and it's cimahealth, .com. And also there you can possibly get a copy of I have two books. I have one right over here. It's called Achieving Unlimited Health. Okay. I wrote this, maybe about 10, 12 years ago, because I was really concerned about my patients. I really said, they need to understand what health is so they can take care of it themselves. And that's why I wrote the book. And when I wrote the book, it was like, okay, this is what they need to do. I want to give them the 20% to give them 80% of the results. So if I can get them functioning properly on a mental, emotional level, physical level, and a chemical level, if I even increased it 5% on each side, you just increased, from just an arithmetic type situation to a geometric. So that 15%, translates out to 20, 25, 30%. So that's the reason why I did that. So you can go, like I said, Cima Health. Cima Functional Medicine, you can get those books online at Cima Functional Medicine. And the PDF copies, you can get those for free, or you can go on Amazon and purchase it there too as well. So, but we're in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. It's a great place to come down and visit. If you definitely want to come down, it's a nice way. We do have patients that do come down from different areas of the country. I've treated patients for like 50 years. No, not 50 years, 45. So, and then when you get to know these people, and now they're like, who's 90, who's 95, 96. And it's just, great to have them around. So,
That's a great place for medical tourism to have a practice in Florida.
yep. Oh, it's perfect. Well, that's one of the things doctor, I really want. This is my goal. My goal is to put a health resort on the ocean, and so that this way people can come down with their families if they want, and be able to come down and get their overall health, and not just them, but their whole family. Also, just a retreat for maybe CEOs or people that like really have to be high function in their job and have to have really great health for them too as well. But I want like a family type of thing and all that, so that when people come down, they come down and enjoy their vacation at the same time, get healthy. Because over here, being on the ocean, you got the golf, you got the tennis, you got the ocean, you got the swimming, you got the scuba diving, you got the fishing, you got everything that you want over here to just be healthy. So it's a nice way to bring your family down. Everybody can, enjoy themselves between the kids or, the wife and everybody. They'll learn how to eat. They'll get blood chemistry analysis. They'll get treatment. They'll have a nice exercise program put together with them by the trainers. So this way they understand these are things that they should do. So it's kind of like, a Disneyland for health. That's what I like to do. And actually it probably costs you less to go here than to Disneyland. The expenses that it is right now, it's incredible. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cima. Some amazing advice and natural support for cancer patients out there. And so wonderful to meet you today. And we'll talk with you soon.
Doc, it was a pleasure meeting you, and it was great. I really appreciate the talk. And I appreciate all that you're doing too, because all this stuff is like anything you can bring out to the general public about cancer and stuff. Because even when you look at cancer, if you put cancer in or whatever it is, anything that's going to come up is all geared from the medical profession, the AMA, pharmaceutical companies, just putting out their crap and they say, oh, if you got this, yeah, do this, but now you should be doing this medication. So you don't even get real true advice anymore. You get all this makeshift crap that all these old wives' tales, but the AMA and the pharmaceutical companies have put together such a beautiful. I'll tell you one thing. I really commend them on their ability to brainwash people.
Hmm.
I really do, because back in the early '80s, you were not allowed to advertise pharmaceuticals on TV. Over the counter, no problem, but pharmaceuticals, no. And I said, they would never do that because they have to tell you all what they call side effects. I call them diseases because that's what they are. Can't have symptoms without a disease, but they would never do that. Sure enough, they did it, but they put the music in, people dancing, smiling, eating dinner, and oh, that's so nice. They'll show the people in the hospitals like on a ventilator going, that they don't show. They don't show any of that crap.
Oh, yeah, it's really fun to make fun of those. And when they slip the may cause death and may cause cancer and really fast in the fine print, and then
Yeah,
hoping
no,
you don't notice.
yeah, and the great thing is like people like you are at least exposing some of this stuff, putting doctors on that they've been dealing with this from a natural approach, so people can see like this is not just a medical traditional approach that we can look at. We have to look at other aspects. So,
Yeah, at least integrative, if
yeah,
not fully natural. It's the only way to go.
exactly, without a doubt. By the way, you look really healthy, Doc.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you look good.
You as well. Not very many wrinkles on that
No, no.
75-year-old face. Doing amazing.
Thank you.
All right, take good care.
Have a great night. Enjoy
Thanks so
yourself.
much. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, I'm on a mission to touch the lives of over 10,000 cancer patients this year, and I want you to join me in this cause. So if you or someone you love is dealing with a cancer diagnosis right now, I want you to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel so you can continue to watch this life-changing content. There are a few links down in the description below to join a free private natural cancer support group on Facebook. You can join this group or invite any of your friends, especially cancer survivors. We need their input and emotional support in this group. For you or anyone that you love, click the link for 3cancerinsights.com to watch the short free presentation to understand how to transform your health, the right way to treat cancer, and ways to reduce cancer treatment side effects. I created the Cancer Detox course to support you and your loved ones through the cancer journey. I take you on a guided tour through the 7 pathways of healing, talk about the causes of cancer, the ways to reverse it, and how to integrate natural remedies into your conventional treatment plan if you so choose. And if you like to read, my book, Natural Home and Herbal Healing, is available on Amazon and Audible, and it takes you on a room by room guided tour of all the powerful healing remedies that can be found throughout your own home and property. So check out the links in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.